Welcome to 3 Lanes number 12. This time, I would like to talk about Group B. We've touched on some cars that were developed for the purpose of Group B, but they didn't make it, like the Porsche 959 and the Ferrari F40. But this time, since we've touched upon that, I would like to talk about Group B. This one might be brief. I don't know if I'll be able to create a post for this one. Uh, Weeks have been really, really busy. I barely have time to get it deep into this. I mean, I try to do as much as I can, but not lose momentum. Uh, I have obviously a 9 to 5, and I also like to do other things like work out and stuff like that. Uh, I have 2 kids, so it's hard to be doing or balancing everything. But yeah, I don't want to give a excuse about this one. This is just something I like and enjoy, and I do it for fun. Hopefully people can get something or learn something out of it. That's mainly the purpose. The other purpose why I started creating podcasts was to help me speak better in front of a microphone. I know it's different when it's just me. Being just me, I got somehow comfortable already, but I don't know, talking with somebody else, I mean, to express myself better. And now that I'm back in school, I have to use the skills that I'm putting in practice here, like researching and learning better and paying attention to what I do, paying attention how I speak, all those things. And this is actually something that's helped me. That was the main idea of it, kind of like how the website started. It started as a hobby, and then it picked up from there. I don't really expect anything out of this. I just do it for fun. But let's dig into Group B. I know we've talked quite a chunk about Group B before, but yeah, this time around, I would like to focus on what happened to it, because honestly, I knew something about it. I knew that some of the cars were qualified as that, but that's about it. I didn't know too much of the story of it. But yeah, I would like to dive into the golden era of rallying, and this lasted from 82 to 86. There were some crazy cars coming out of Group B, and honestly, Group B started in 1982 by the FIA, which is the the International Federation of the Automobile, but it's in French, which I'm not gonna say. I know I took French in college, but I don't know what it is now. As a replacement for both Group 4 in rallying and Group 5, this is how Group B was born. So Group 4 was again rallying, and Group 5 was circuit racing. So combining both, Group B was born. The regulations for Group B were really, really loose, and what I found it's gonna it's laughable, because I don't know if this is, I really doubt this is it, but the main description that I found is like you need a fixed roof, 2 seats side by side, a minimum weight determined by the engine displacement, force induction displacement calculated at a multiplier of 1.4. So if your engine had a turbo or a supercharger, then uh, you multiply by 1.4 the capacity of the engine, and then that's how you would place. And I think the same would be with the weight. But the manufacturers had to build 200 examples in a 12-month period for the homologation, and that was it. That was all the rules. So, but at the same time, I don't want to move forward. Sorry. I want to stay in the rules a little bit longer, because I had to. I don't know. I would like to understand it better. I didn't want to move so quick from it, because at the end of the day, and as we have heard from the other episodes, the regulations in Group B is what caused Group B to basically die. So um, the homologation requirements, for example, they only had to make 200 road going versions of the car, meaning 200 units would have to be road legal. This was a significant reduction from Group 4, which required 400 units. Evolution models, which is like kind of like exponential version of the already developed car, 20 additional cars needed to be produced. And there were no restrictions on boost. And forced induction engines, again, had the multiplier of 1.4. And this factor determined the car's class corresponding to weight and tire width limits. Something that I had an issue with was that multiplier. What the heck does that mean? So I had to go around a couple of times and see what I could get. So what I got was that the rule regarding forced induction displacement in Group B was a crucial aspect of the regulations that significantly impacted car design and performance. And the 1.4 multiplier was applied to the displacement of forced induction engines, meaning turbocharged or supercharged, to determine their effective displacement for classification purposes. So this rule was implemented to account for the increased power output of forced induction engines compared to natural aspirated ones. So it was kind of like a handicap. How it worked, it was the actual displacement of a forced induction engine was multiplied by 1.4. And then the resulting figure was used to determine the car's class and corresponding weight limits. And there's an example here, an example of a turbocharged 1785 cc engine will be calculated as 1785 times 1.4 equals 2499 cc, so 2499 cc. And this will place the car in the 2500 cc class. And despite the actual engine had smaller displacement, but because of the forced induction, then that was the handicap that they had to deal with. So this impacted car design. There was a weight advantage. Manufacturers could use smaller, lighter turbocharged engines while competing in higher displacement classes. The power density, it encouraged the development of highly tuned small displacement turbocharged engines capable of producing enormous power outputs. And then class positioning, the cars like the Peugeot 205 and the Lancia Delta S4 with a 1.8 liter turbocharged engine competed in the 2.5 liter class with a minimum weight of 890 kilograms. Yeah, but that's the rule of the 1.4 multiplier. Then we can move to the vehicle design. There were few restrictions on technology, design, or materials. There was an allowance of using exotic material and advanced engineering techniques, meaning anything that you had in your favor about materials or all the stuff that you were prototyping, you were able to use it. Manufacturers use space frame chassis instead of a production car unibodies. Then we also have the weight and engine classes, and Group B had 15 classes based on engine displacement. The notable classes included the 3000 cc class or the 2142 cc with forced induction. The minimum weight was 960 kilograms. Examples in this class would be the Audi, the Quattro, and the Lancia 037. Then we have the 2500 cc class, which would translate to 1785 cc with forced induction, a minimum weight of 890 kilograms. And some examples would be the Peugeot 205 T16 and the Lancia Delta S4. And finally, we have the 4000 cc class, which would be 2857 cc with forced induction, minimum weight of 1100 kilograms. And examples in this one will be the Ferrari 288 GTO, the precursor of the F40, as we know, and the Porsche 959, which really didn't make it to Group B, but it's listed there. The safety regulations. The basic safety requirements were in place, but they were minimal compared to modern standards. So I don't know exactly what were the safety requirements. Let's find out. What were the safety requirements for Group B? And what I can tell you is that okay, got it. The basic safety measures. Group B cars had to adhere to some basic safety requirements, which were outlined in Articles 252 and 253 of the FIA regulations, and these included: 1. Safety cages, and 2. Essential safety equipment like windshields and side view mirrors. That's basically what we have. Minimal focus on safety. The rules primarily focus on performance and technical aspects rather than safety. The regulations allow for extreme power outputs, lightweight construction, and advanced materials and engineering techniques, like we spoke before. So it's morely focusing on seeing super powerful cars, and if the driver was safe, good for him. But that's not really what we're focused on. We're focused on seeing a fucking mad car, and this kind of translates to how humans work in like the show business. If you think about it, think of it. Bodybuilding is the same thing. Bodybuilders at the maximum category, like the Olympia, they can use whatever the heck they want, as long as they're huge, and as long as they look like a freak show. They can use whatever they want. And I'm not saying they don't put work, because they have to work hard to get those bodies. But it's like people just want the show. People just want to see something crazy, and that's what this was. The cars were insane. The cars were super powerful, and that's what you get. I mean, you get a focus on something really exotic and crazy, but then you don't take care of the people that are working to make this happen, which in this case would be the drivers, and bodybuilding would be the guys that put on the show, right? Like the athletes. I don't think anybody looks after them. I don't know if you have seen Ronnie Coleman's um, documentaries, but the guy had some crazy issues with his body, and because of all the exercise and all the stuff that he had to go through. But after a while, nobody cares, man, and it's kind of sad, because these are the people that are working to entertain everybody else, and nobody's really paying attention to them after they're done, right? Another safety measures that were lacking were the safety measures with the people that went to go see the crowds that went to see the races. We've talked about this and in previous episodes. If you haven't listened to those, go to the Ferrari F40. I think that's the one that has most of the information of Group B and the accidents that happen. But there were insufficient crowd control measures, sorry, limited protection for drivers and co-drivers, and cars that were too powerful for the existing safety infrastructure. Um, yeah, as a consequence, you have the multiple fatal accidents involving both drivers and spectators. Injuries to spectators who could get dangerously close to the racing cars. If you have a chance, please go see YouTube videos. I'll try to find some races and put them on the show notes. But people were super close. It's still in rally that people get really close. Imagine even closer than that. Drivers reporting finding blood, hair, and even severe fingers in their car's bodywork after races. Dude, that's insane. That's crazy. Uh, but before killing Group B, I would like to go back and tell you about the spectacle. Oh, actually, no. We're going to examples of cars produced by Group B, which I think it's some of the best, as we all know. But the Audi Quattro, it's the pioneer of four-wheel drive in rallying. The Peugeot 205 T16. This was a lightweight and nimble competitor that dominated in 1985 and 1986. The Lancia Delta S4 had a supercharger and a turbocharger. The Ford RS200, man, this is one of my favorite cars. A purpose-built rally car with radical design, yes, no doubt about that. The MG Metro 6R4, a V6 power pocket rocket. That's a fun description. These cars were capable of producing between 450 to 600 horsepower, making them the most powerful vehicles ever to compete in rallying. Crazy. Some of the notable drivers of Group B are Timo Salonen, record holder with the most wins in Group B era. Stig Blomqvist, in 1984, World Rally champion with Audi. And to me, I assume, and if you know the answer, please leave a comment or something. But Stig Blomqvist, to me, is the precursor of the Stig in Top Gear. That's what I think. I mean, it's pretty obvious, I think. But if you know the truth, please let me know. Michelle Mouton, the first and only woman to win WRC events. Yeah, crazy. These are just some of the drivers' examples that were in Group B. These drivers pushed themselves and their machines to the absolute limit, creating some of the most intense rivalries and spectacular displays of driving prowess in motorsport history. Now we move to the spectacle. Group B rallying wasn't just about the cars and drivers. It was a complete spectacle that drew massive crowds. The combination of incredibly fast cars, narrow stages, and minimal crowd control created an atmosphere unlike anything else in motorsport. Fans would line the stages, often standing dangerously close to the racing cars as they sped by. This added to the adrenaline-fueled atmosphere, but also contributed to the dangerous nature of the sport. And then now we have the downfall. The downfall of Group B, it's kind of sad because there were kind of like some back-to-back tragic events that shouldn't have happened if the right regulations would have been in place. In Portugal, a Ford RS200 crashed into a crowd, killing 3 spectators. I think it was probably more than that, but I think 3 were kids and 1 was a woman. Yeah, this accident was really really tragic. I think the woman and 2 kids died at the race, and then I might be wrong, but 1 more kid passed away at the hospital, and I think a few more were injured. But the next one was at the Tour de Course. Henry Toivonen and his co-driver Sergio Cresto lost their lives when their Lancia Delta S4 rolled down a ravine and crashed against a tree and basically exploded, killing them both. This back-to-back crashes, because if I remember correctly, were a month apart, if not during the same month. But these 2 back-to-back events made the FIA pull the plug on Group B and ending the race in 1986. The legacy of Group B is huge, though. I mean, it lasted from 82 to 86. But the impact in rallying and motorsport cannot be overstated. It pushed the boundaries of automotive technology, and car enthusiasts still look after these cars. If you see them at a car show, you cannot miss them. Everybody takes photos of them. These cars left a huge mark on the sport, and I think they were probably precursors of current vehicles that we have today. Uh, the Group B cars are highly sought after. That's true, mainly by collectors, people with deep pockets, let's call it. But if not a regular Joe can own one of these cars, these are really really expensive. F40s, there's a limited amount. The 288s, the same thing. I mean, there was only 200 produced per car as homologation, right? So they didn't they're needing there was no need for there was no need for many cars of these to be produced. Uh, Group B Rally represents a unique period in motorsport history where technology, bravery, that's for sure, bravery, and spectacle combine to create something truly extraordinary. While its time was short, the impact continues to resonate among the enthusiasts and in the world of rally. It serves as a reminder of both the thrilling possibilities and the inherent dangers of pushing the limits in motorsport. Uh, yeah, Group B leaves a lot of lessons behind. One thing that I appreciate and that I think it's kind of like common sense and thinking, man, how did they not come up with these things before? Like the halo and in F1 and Indy on the cars, the bar that you see on top of the drivers, um, and so many safety measures, right? Like before, if you see the F1 cars from way before, not even don't go that far, maybe in the 90s, where they were fully open, and something goes wrong, you go flying, you land on your head, you break your neck, crazy stuff. But yeah, Group B is something that I'm hoping to learn more about. I'm hoping to learn more about rally because I'm not that deep into rally, but I really want to touch on these because they help me learn, and I hope you learn by me making this episode. Uh, Otherwise, I think this is a good place to leave it. I hope you enjoyed the small story about Group B, and thank you for stopping by. I appreciate your time. See you next time.